What's up, family? Shout out to Crew Excellence. It's your boy, Justin Strickland. I'm the host of the Ladder Podcast, presented by the Hope Institute, and I'm so excited to be with you today. Now, today, we're going to be talking about 5 ways leaders can establish brands, okay? 5 questions you got to answer, and it's going to be super dope. I hope that you hang around to the end and get all of them, because I'm going to finish with a quote that I think applies to leaders in these situations that can really help you. So don't leave early. Hang out to the end of the video, and you will be rewarded, all right? If you're new here, before we jump into any of that, I just want to let you know why you're here and why I'm here, all right? You're here because somebody told you about the pod, or YouTube gave it to you. Either way, shout out to both. I'm here because I'm trying to develop you as a leader. So the Ladder Podcast exists for the sole purpose of making you better as a leader. And in different capacities, we view leaders as anybody with a pulse. Anybody with a pulse has a realm of responsibility, a level of capacity for leadership. And so we feel like it's our mission to define that for you and to give you tools to improve that capacity, okay? So if you're here for that purpose, you're in the right place, right? And so I want you to know that there are tools and resources in the description if you want to do some leadership courses, if you want to be part of a leadership group. And I want you to join those things if you're like, hey, I'm ready to become the next best thing. I'm ready to take my leadership to the next level. That is what the ladder is for. All right. Now that we've done our housekeeping, and you know I'm the favorite host of the ladder, and I'm back dolo solo. That means bring your notepads out. We're going to learn some stuff today, okay? So we're talking about brand and reputation. And like I said in the intro, I'm not just talking about like graphic design. We ain't talking about logos or best fonts or colors, or we're not really talking about any of that, okay? That's not my forte. That's why I got Nate, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. We are more so talking about how do leaders establish brands. And before I jump into the questions, I just want to talk about certain brands and how they were established and how we respond to them. So first, let's talk about McDonald's. If you ever watched the McDonald's movie, or you ever read about McDonald's as a business, most people are surprised, and I was, to find out that McDonald's really isn't in the hamburger business. Like, that's not their priority. That's not their main model. If you're old enough to care about yourself, you probably don't eat a lot of McDonald's. And the reason you don't eat a lot of McDonald's is because you know it's not good for you. And McDonald's doesn't really care about that. Like, that's not the business they're in. They're not trying to make the best hamburger, right? So everybody, if you like right now, quick, what's the best hamburger you ever had? Nobody's gonna think, right? Drop in a comment, McDonald's, okay? That's just not gonna happen. So why is McDonald's so successful? Well, because McDonald's is in the real estate business. What McDonald's does is they have made a genius model on picking the best real estate for their restaurant. And so McDonald's owns the land that all the McDonald's sits on. That's a branding decision, okay? And so when you go to McDonald's, you're not coming for a great burger. You're coming for a fast burger close to your house. You know what I'm saying? You're coming for a fast Happy Meal on the way to church. Or you're grabbing you want a quick McChicken on the way to work. And so McDonald's is great at saying, hey, we are the burger spot that's close to you. Wherever you need to go, wherever you're going to be, we're the spot that you know you can get to that's going to be within a decent distance. That's our brand. That's our reputation, right? And it's so interesting because that's an American thing too. Because like when you go overseas, McDonald's is way different. Like in Hawaii, they serve Spam. When I was in Europe, their food is way better in Europe because of different standards for meat and things like that. They don't have the same brand as they do here. It's not as many, and it's not as fast. Like we had walked in, we waited. It was a whole different experience, right? And so that and what I want to say is like I said, I'm not talking about logo, colors, none of that. But the feeling that someone gets or wants is intentional from the brand. So McDonald's is very intentional with making you feel like there's always a McDonald's around the corner, right? What we gonna eat? Oh, man, I get McDonald's, right? Like that's intentional. They want you to default to that, right? So another brand that I always love to talk about is Apple. Apple, I got the iPad, I got an iPhone, I don't have AirPods, but my wife has AirPods. I got a Mac laptop. Like what Apple has done, two things. One, they've made us believe their products are better. Anybody that like does technology will like that for real. They'll tell you they really aren't. Like people that are really like into like manufacturing and tech and they'll tell you like iPhones ain't really like better than Samsungs or better than a lot of Android phones, right? But Apple has convinced us that they are, right? And one of the ways they've done it is the text message system, right? So they created iMessage, where if I text another Apple user, my text bubble is a certain color. But when I text an Android user, I get a different text bubble color. And that tells my brain, this dude's weird, right? This girl's weird. You get in a group chat and you see the text message the wrong color, you're like, hey, who got an Android? And you instantly peer pressure and shame them. That's a whole intentional strategy from Apple, right? To make you feel like either you're included or you're on the outside. And so that's not on accident. That's not a technological advancement, right? iMessage isn't technologically more advanced, but it makes you feel that way, right? And then what it also does is they have a connectivity through devices. So if I do a note on my phone, I got my phone, it goes to my iPad, it goes to my laptop, and I don't have to do anything to send it or to pull it up. It's just there. If I have music on my Apple Music on my phone, I can pull it up on my iPad, I can pull it up on my laptop. There's a connectivity through devices that just streamlines the process for a lot of things. Like for especially for creatives, like me being someone that podcasts and wants to do things like that of that nature. That's literally the only reason I got Apple products. I had a Galaxy. I was happy with it. I used to talk stuff to all the Apple users. But then I got a Mac, and as I was podcasting and trying to learn more about social media, it was just really difficult for me to send videos and things from my Galaxy to my Mac. They didn't like to communicate. And so I got an iPhone, and I was like, oh, you guys are best friends. And so, but that's on purpose, right? And so Apple does a really good job of making you desire their products and making you feel like you're being left out if you don't have one of their products. So those are two examples I think are really good. I'll go one more example and then we'll jump into the 5 questions you got to answer as a leader. The last example is a sports team, right? So the Lakers. The Lakers have a brand. This brand was developed intentionally by leaders playing for the Lakers. If you notice, the Lakers are Hollywood, glitz, glam, right? Showtime. Well, it didn't always used to be like that. That was intentional by Magic Johnson and Jerry Buss. And what they did is they made sure that the stars in Hollywood felt like they belonged at the Lakers game. So at the Forum, if you do your research, maybe if you watch the series on HBO, they had a club at the stadium, right? Magic would hoop, shower, throw on the mink coat, go to the club in the Forum. And so it was a brand that they built, and that brand has carried to this day. So even if the Lakers aren't good, like this year, I don't know if the Lakers are going to be good or not. They're about 500 at the time of this recording. But the TV shows are going to talk about them, right? You're going to see stuff online about them. The ticket sales going to be high. Like all of that's going to be true for the Lakers because of the brand that they have. You see somebody in a Lakers hoodie or a Lakers jersey or a Lakers shirt, and they never even been to LA. It's because their brand carries weight to the consumer because of what it is and what it means and the reputation. And all of that is not accidental. It happens on purpose, right? They want you to feel a certain way when you put on a Lakers hoodie, when you talk about the Lakers. They want you to say one of the NBA's most historic franchises, right? And so all of those things kind of roll together to make you feel that way about a certain brand or organization or team. And that's all intentional. So because it happens on purpose, that means as leaders, we get to control that, right? We get to decide what our brand is and how people feel when they interact with it. And so the first question that you have to answer as a leader, so it's 5 questions you got to answer about brand and reputation. The first one is, what's your voice? So the first question you got to answer is, what is your voice? And what I mean by that is, how do you sound to the consumer? And so think about like insurance. All the car insurance, they have spokespersons now, right? And so I'm thinking about Allstate. The Allstate man, right? His voice is deep, super deep. I was gonna do it, but my voice don't sound good that deep. But at the end of commercials, he says, you know what I'm saying, the tagline, but it's soothing. Like a older man with a voice that deep just makes you feel comfortable, right? It feels like a fireplace. It feels like you're in a home with good security measures. And so the Allstate's voice, right, is that you're safe, which goes along with their motto, which is you're in good hands. Like it all kind of works together to make you feel like if you're interacting with Allstate, if you have Allstate, you are safe because they want to take care of you, right? Because if somebody drops you off somewhere with somebody you never met and be like, hey, you're in good hands, what they're trying to tell you is you can trust this person, right? You can trust that they're gonna look out for you. They're gonna have their best interests at heart. And so Allstate uses that phrase and uses that voice to get you to feel that same way, right? And then you think about Progressive. Progressive does not have the like comfort ideal. But what Progressive does is they get all these people who are like lightweight nerds, right? Like that's kind of their thing. Like I know the new commercial, they got Buddy, he's one of the Progressive actors, and is at his high school football game. And they're in the state championship, and his dad is like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not meant to play football, Dad. I'm meant to do insurance and get people saved on auto and home. And it's a so the idea from Progressive is like the people that are working here are passionate about this, right? They're passionate about car and auto and bundling. And like they're super excited about like helping you save money and helping you be protected. And like they've given like, and it's their life's work is the ideal with Progressive. So if I'm going to Progressive, I feel like the people I'm working with, they really love insurance, which sounds crazy to me because I don't. But that's what they make you feel, right? And so the ideal of voice is when you speak, whether it be through a commercial, through advertisement, through a logo, through color, what do you want people to hear, right? And it might be easier to think about that if you're selling a product, but this happens for services as well. Like if I'm a massage therapist, when someone goes to my website or they watch my video, how do I want them to feel? Right. And so we've seen these people popping up on social media who are massage therapists, but you know, I say this in quotes because they ain't really got no licensing, right? But they give you like massages and you see these black guys who are like swole up and oiled up and they just smacking girls on the butt and rubbing them down. But like when a woman, their intentional client is women, when they watch that and they watch these guys who are in great shape, dote or give them this attention, they feel like, ooh, that looks nice. And so they don't even talk. They don't have to say anything, but their voice for their brand tells you, you would enjoy this experience, right? And so what is your voice as a leader? And you get to decide, how do you sound? Are you aggressive? And I mean that not in a, like, I want to kill people, but like we about to go get it. Like Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas is aggressive. Are you more peaceful? Like, do you want people to calm down when they interact with you? You get to decide this, and you can decide it through a myriad of ways, but it's important that you make a decision because you want to have a singular voice so that you get the right client, right? Because that's the thing. You don't want to have any client. You want to have the right client, the right customer. You want to make the right impact on the right people, and your voice matters. What's your direction? Where are we going? Right? If I get your t-shirt, if I buy your accounting service, if I book you to be a speaker at my event, where are you going to take me? What's the direction for your brand? So as a leader, I talk about all the time, vision is highly important. Where are we going? And so, for example, Duluth. I don't know if you know about Duluth Trading Company. They have funny commercials. It's a clothing company. They do a lot of different stuff. But one of the things, they do a lot of stuff for men, right? And so they have this thing, they have an underwear, and they like, you put on these underwear, and it's like the competing brand. You feel horrible. I don't like this. You put on these, you become a man, you can chop wood. And so the direction is, if I wear your clothes, I'm more comfortable to be manly, right? And so putting on your clothes takes me towards my goal of being a man's man, right? And so where are you taking people with your brand? Where are you taking people with your organization? What direction are you going? And this happens, and this is what I'm talking about, because a lot of people think like, oh, I can do, if you put me in an elevator, I can explain this, right? But if you have a brand, how many times are you gonna be in an elevator with somebody? A lot less than somebody's just gonna come across you on the internet, right? Or come across you through somebody else who's used your services or bought your product. And so you want the internet, you want former customers or consumers to be able to articulate where they went or where your brand took them, right? In a good way. And that means you have to be intentional with setting a direction for your brand and organization, okay? Number 3, what's your purpose? Why does your organization exist? Why does your brand exist? Who is your brand for? I was talking about, we got an election just happened. You can go on a Democrat site, you go on a Republican site, they tell you what their purpose is, why they exist as a party, where they're trying to take you. All of that, you can find it right away. It's easily accessible. So what is your purpose? So for example, I'm thinking about Chick-fil-A, right? Why does Chick-fil-A exist? Chick-fil-A exists because they want to give you a positive experience in fast food with food that they love, right? And so the purpose of Chick-fil-A is to provide God's chicken to God's people, right? And so you know that when you go to Chick-fil-A, you know they're going to ask you, my pleasure. They say, my pleasure, right? And so you leave Chick-fil-A thinking like, man, they were really happy. It was their pleasure to give me chicken. And so their purpose is to make you feel like, you know what I'm saying, they love what they do and they want to provide you this product that they really love and they think you'll love. And so what's your purpose? Why do you exist? Because you have to answer that question to everybody, because everybody wants to know, why I should stop here, buy here, shop here, spend time here, give energy here. Why? And so you have to answer that question, okay? Number 4, who are your people? I kind of hinted at this earlier when I talked about direction. Everything ain't for everybody, okay? Walmart is for a certain group of people. And when you get a little money, you start shopping at Target. You feel me? Like that. But the thing is like Target is for a certain group of people, right? And so you got Amazon is for a certain group of people. Even though you feel like you can buy everything on Amazon, there's people who don't like online shopping, right? And Amazon doesn't be like, it's people who don't like online shopping. What we gonna do? Let's make brick and mortars. They like, nah, that's stupid. Them ain't our people, right? And so who are your people? Answering this question can often help you answer all the 3 questions before, right? Who are you trying to serve? Because who you're trying to serve might determine how your brand sounds, right? Might determine what your messaging looks like to give a certain direction. It might determine how you phrase your purpose so that the people you want to serve aren't turned off, or the people that you want to serve know that you want to serve them. Who are your people, right? And then the 5th thing is, why should we care? So like, what's your purpose is like, why do you do this? Why should we care that you do this, right? And so perfect example is the ladder, right? What's the purpose of the ladder? To develop leaders. Why should I care about that? Because you are a leader, right? So I answer both those questions. What's your purpose? My purpose is to develop leaders, right? Why should you care about that though? Well, you should care because you're a leader. And if you just now realizing that, then you need to be developed, okay? And so a lot of people answer that question, right? And for example, Apple, a lot of the new innovations with Apple have all centered around kind of security, securing your information, securing your data. And they have a reason that they're doing it, right? What's their purpose? They want to make their devices more secure, right? They want to make sure that when you get an iPhone, that's not a concern. So why should you care? Because you're tired of people stealing your data. You're tired of getting ads when you was like, bro, I was just talking to a buddy about coffee. Now 16 coffee ads on my YouTube. Like, if you're exhausted with that, then this product might be for you, right? And because you care about this. And so what are your pain points? That's something that my business coach says all the time. What are your people's pain points and how do you address them? And so that is kind of the general idea, is like, why should we care? And so I'm gonna run through all 5 again. I'm going to give you the answer for the Hope Institute so you can kind of see how they break down. And then I'm going to let you go because we've been here hanging out, having a great time. But I know you got other stuff to do. All right. What's your voice? What's your direction? What's your purpose? Who are your people? And why should we care? All right. That sound good? Those are your 5 that you got to answer, right, as a leader. What's your voice? The Hope Institute's voice is authentic. If you ever watch our interviews, if you ever watch my podcast, I'm transparent, I'm authentic, and I'm consistent, right? So if you come here, you know what it's going to look like. You know what it's going to sound like. You know that we're going to have the lion, we're going to have the color. That's my voice, right? That's how we sound. We're straightforward. We ain't frivolous. You ain't going to see us doing like no trendy stuff. Like that ain't who we is, right? We are authentic and we are real and we're trying to get information to you. What's your direction? My direction, our direction at the Hope Institute is that you will be excellent. So we are on the journey. We are pursuing excellence. So if you buy a shirt, if you watch a podcast, if you enroll in a course, you're on the journey towards excellence. All right. What's your purpose? Purpose is to develop leaders, right? We want to develop leaders in every space, in every industry, in every age group and generation, right? Every color. We want to make sure we have leaders that are ready to help change the world. That is our purpose. Who are your people? Everybody, right? Everybody's our people. And if we look at the demographics of my YouTube, because I watch this sometimes, Nate'd be happy to hear that. 18 to 35 specifically, right? Those are more my people. More in if we get in particular, those are my people because those are the people who are realizing for the first time in their life that they have opportunities for leadership. Right? And so they're trying to develop that. And those are primarily my people. Mama, I love that you watch it too. I hang out with some of y'all old people too. All right. And why should you care? You should care because if you don't develop this skill, if you don't develop this capacity, the world is a worse place because of it. So you should care because by you becoming your best version of you as a leader, we get the benefits on the global scale. And so you can change the world, but you need to develop to do it. And that's why it matters to you. So I hope that you hung around because hope I gave you some ideals as you're thinking about a brand, as you already have one, and you're like, oh, I need to rethink some of these things. Hopefully I gave you some tools and some resources that you can do that in a way that can make you successful, right? And ultimately, I said I had a quote for you at the end, and I'm not going to forget about the quote. All right. So I want to give you this quote, and it's from Proverbs. It says, there is safety in a multitude of counsel. And what that quote means is, as you develop these things, these brand and all of these things, you want to ask a lot of people. Because the more people you ask that are trusted, that are wise, the better you can cultivate something that is effective. And that's ultimately what we all want to be. We don't want to just have a brand that we think is dope. We don't have a brand that we think is dope and is effective at what we're trying to do. All right. Hey, until next time, this has been episode 46, y'all. We rolling, man. I can't believe it. Hey, man, I have a dream for this, and I'm just chugging away, building it brick by brick. One of my homies, well, not my homie, a rapper, Derek Miner, he says, when you're building something great, they don't give you bricks for free. And it's so true, but I'm so grateful for anybody who hangs out with me. Show some love to the pod. Like it, comment, subscribe, share with your mama and your daddy. Even if y'all ain't really on terms like that, just let them watch the pod. That might bridge the gap. All right. Until next time, man, I appreciate you and I'm honored to spend some time with you. Peace.